Hello everyone. Today we're going to be drawing feet. Now, first what I'd like to do is to go ahead and show you some examples of what not to do. Now, I'm sure these are the kind of feet that perhaps you have drawn in the past. Maybe you've got a younger brother or sister or a friend, and this is how they draw feet. As you can see, this first one here looks a bit like a jelly bean. The other one here, kind of a squashed ball. It's sort of a no. Here we have more of an oval squashed ball. That's a big no. The reason I'm saying no and showing you these first is because when we have a foot, we want the foot to look like it is firmly flat on the ground. Now, this next one I'm going to show you basically is your first example of one that is a correct foot. You'll note that where the bone comes down at the ankle, it is at an angle, 3/4 angle at the front and the back, and that the bottom of the foot is flat. You can see that it tapers down toward the toe and tapers out toward the heel on the back end. Now for the next one here, we're going to be doing a 3/4 angle. Now this is kind of the top of it is an upside down V, but one side longer than the other. The longer side forms the top of the foot. Then I give that little curve on the front to show the blunt of the toe. Give a little top piece there, and then we have a 3/4 foot coming straight out at the audience. Okay, and yes, this is the correct angle. Now the third one is one which we're going to go ahead and do it straight on. You notice this time instead of a V with one side longer than the other, this time it's an evenly shaped upside down V, and we put the curving on both sides and to give the blunt of the toe or the front of the toe as it's coming toward the viewer. Okay, and again, this is the front. One of the things to note about this, on this one, this correct one, is that you notice at the back of the foot, it appears to be narrow. All right, it appears to be narrower. And then what happens is as the foot comes forward toward the viewer, it gets wider. Okay, this is something called foreshortening. As we widen the toe out, it makes it like it's coming toward the viewer, and it creates more depth to the character and or to the overall design. Now let's take a look at bending the toe. If you have a foot, whether it's in the shoe or it's a barefoot toe, you're going to have to bend the foot if you're doing a walk or if the character is leaning. And typically what you want to do is you want to draw that so you notice the base of the foot is it still looks flat, but it's up at a 45. But the front of the foot, right where the toe would bend at the front, this is where we put that bend in that toe. It's flat on the ground, and the ankle bone is up at a 45-degree angle, right? So here we have your profile, foot flat on the ground as it's lifting itself up in a walking pose. Now the next one, once again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a 3/4 angle for the foot with the bent toe. You'll note here that I'm marking out the bend in the toe where it is. Okay, now onto the 3/4 angle. Now once again with the 3/4 angle, I'm starting with that front of the top of the foot. There's the heel line coming back in underneath the bottom of the foot and making that sharp turn there where I'm kind of giving us the bottom of the toes there where they're cut up, where they're pushing off on the ground. You'll notice on this one, I'll go ahead and put in a few more toes so we can see across the front of that foot. Got that angle coming up, and at a 45, that foot is coming out. Right, an ankle bone's coming out. There's my ankle bone and the top of the bone structure, reinforcing my lines. Okay, and again, this is a 3/4 angle, and note where the bend happens between the larger part of the bone of the foot versus the toes. Now let's take a look at the front view. Now the front view is shaped like a bell. You know, it's a small curve at the top, and then it opens up with that V shape again at the base there, like a bell, and the bottom is rounded off. Okay, now you'll notice there with the blunt of the toe there, I'm going ahead and put in some toes, right, as that foot is coming straight at the viewer. Got my leg bone coming up out of the backside there. You'll notice you look directly up at the foot above it. You'll notice when you're looking directly in the front, it comes to more of a point, right, because I've got it there, kind of laying it back a little bit. But we're really showing that thickness of the leg with this forward view bend. Okay, we got our front view here. And again, same as we've done before, the back of the foot is narrow as it's receding into the background. And as we move our way forward toward the front of the foot is wide. And this is wide because it's coming closer to the viewer. Now let's take a look at the feet in combination using it in a practical setting. If we're going to be drawing out, say, it's the bottom part of the torso, and I'll use that for example, is that you'll notice if I draw in the feet, I'm going to put one foot at a 45-degree angle, or 3/4. Notice I had that bell shape, one side longer than the other, round off the blunt of the toe. There we go. Foot, that's 3/4 angle. The next foot, certainly we're at now, going to be at a profile. So I'm bringing that back. And there we are. We've got the profile of the foot. We're looking at the side of the foot. Okay? And yes, this is something that is correct. We want to do this. As we think about this, with each foot is at a different angle. Okay? Each foot is at a slightly different angle. We don't stand with both of our feet directly rigid out to the front like a soldier, unless you're trying to depict a soldier. But a normal everyday person has one foot forward or to 3/4 and the other one at a profile or 3/4. Rarely do they both stand with both feet directly straight ahead. Now, one that's a definite no-no, and again, this is one that a pose that some of you have probably done before, just for simplification, or you've seen someone else do it, but to give themselves ballerina feet, where they're going ahead and they're drawing both feet are pointed directly out to the sides. Both feet are painted directly out to the sides. If you had tried this, this is a very painful thing. People do not normally stand this way. This is very painful. Unless, of course, you are specifically trained as, say, a gymnast or a dancer, and you have developed the muscle strength to be able to do this without lingering pain. So again, no, both feet are pointed to the sides. This is incorrect and painful. So if you see this, think again, try to come up with something else. You can do it. I've shown you how now to go ahead and draw the foot at a profile, a 3/4, and a front view. Mix it up. Change up the angle of the character. So try this out for yourself in your own sketchbook. Good luck and have fun.